Yo, man, you know what this is, man. This is your favorite channel, man. This is CTB. Chin Tuck Boxing. I'm your boy, Jay Slay. Say what up to him, man.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in.
Most definitely. While y'all tuning in, man, please do us a favor, man. Do yourself a favor and subscribe to the channel, man. We drop content consistently now, man. We dropping a lot of content lately. And really, we dropping content, man, so we can have real conversations with you real boxing fans. And this, what's on the menu today for him, bro?
It's an interesting article on ESPN that came out, I believe, this morning. It came out this morning, and it was written by Mike Coppinger, and it's pretty much breaking down the wish list for the new year for the fights that they would like to see as far as ESPN. And I thought the list would be pretty biased, being that they connected the top rank, but it came out to be a pretty decent list. So they pretty much had 7 different fights that they wish to happen this year, but they also, for each fight, they had an alternate fight and the confidence level. So I'm gonna tell you the fight, the confidence level, and the alternate fights. You'll tell me pretty much if you prefer to have that fight or one of those alternate fights, and how confident you are that that fight can be made.
All right, cool. Let's chop it up, man.
All right,
so some of these fights today, man.
So the first fight on the list is Tyson Fury against Usyk. The confidence level for it to be made is 8.5, and the alternate fights is Fury and Joshua or Usyk and Wilder.
The confidence level, I would say, it's kind of high in my opinion, at 8.5, because Usyk still has to get past Joshua, and that's not a gimme for real. I would say my confidence level will probably be around. I'm gonna say it's 7, man. I give it a 7. Because I do feel the Dillian White Fury fight. I think Fury will drop the belt before he fight Dillian White. I think that Usyk fight can still happen. But it's all up to if Usyk want to fight for not being undisputed, and if he beats Joshua. But in my opinion, man, I prefer the Joshua versus Fury fight out of all 3 of those.
We on the same page as far as the fight I prefer. I think the Fury and Joshua fight would be a bigger fight. I'm more interested in that fight. As far as the confidence level, pretty much what you said, because of he has to beat Joshua again for that fight to happen. I say my confidence level is about a 5 or 6. Now, if he wins that fight, then I believe that fight can be made. But like you said, I think he has to win against Joshua, so that'll bring my confidence level down to a 5. To the next fight, this is a funny one. Canelo Alvarez against Triple G. The confidence level is 5, and you have for alternate fight Alvarez against Arthur, and you also have Triple G against Charlo, and you also have Triple G against Boo Boo.
My confidence level on that fight is, I would say, a 1, man. Nobody want to see that shit no more, man. nobody want to see Triple G Canelo fight no more. I think Canelo is on the bigger and better things, in my opinion, man. And I think, I'm gonna be honest, man. I think Triple G might be at a gatekeeper status, man. He hasn't had a real big name in a while. So in my opinion, man, those alternate fights sound better to me. That Triple G versus Charlo, I would love to see that fight, man. That's a great fight. That's the fight I prefer to see. But I also wouldn't be mad at the Boo Boo fight with Triple G. So I prefer the alternates on that fight.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one also. As rest the chapter on this fight, Triple G is steady declining. Alvarez is steady going upward as far as his boxing ability. I think he'll destroy him in the third fight. I don't have no interest in it. Like you said, as far as the alternate fight, if I had to choose one, I think the Triple G and Jamal Charlo fight, I would probably choose, because I think Jamal Charlo can get another good win on his belt. And if he can beat him convincingly, I think it would put more pressure on Canelo to make that fight with him. So I'll go with Jamal against Triple G for the alternate fight. The third fight, the fight that we all want to see this year, Errol Spence against Terence Crawford. The confidence level that the fight can be made this year is 6.5. Alternate fights, Crawford versus Josh Taylor, and Spence versus Boots Ennis.
I think that's kind of low for confidence level, man. What you said the confidence was a 6?
6.5.
Yeah, that's kind of low, man. I'm hoping my confidence level is like an 8 on that fight. It would be a 10 if Usyk was if Ugas wasn't standing in the way of Spence. Because like I said, that's a tough fight. I don't want nobody sleeping on Ugas. So my confidence on that fight would be, I would say, a 7.5 to an 8. And I'm not even worrying about those alternate picks, man, because I want to see the Crawford Spence fight. So I'm not even going to pick between those two alternate fights because I don't want to speak that into existence. I'm just going to say that that Crawford fight and the Spence fight is going to happen this year.
Yeah. The alternate fights, like you said, it's for alternate if you thought the fight couldn't happen. I'm with you on this one. I believe that fight can be made. Like you said, the only thing standing in the way right now is Ugas, who's a very formidable opponent, and hopefully Spence can get past that fight so we can get this big mega fight. And like you said, I'm gonna go with an 8.5 for that fight because I really believe that at the end of this, at the fall or the last quarter of this year, we'll get that mega fight. Third fight. This is another interesting fight. The fourth fight. Anthony Joshua against Deontay Wilder. Confidence level 3 out of 10. Alternate fights. Wilder against Andy Ruiz or Joshua versus Dillian White.
That's a good one, man. I'm gonna say my confidence level on that fight. I'm gonna give it a 5, man. I still hold out hope that Usyk that he'll beat Usyk, that AJ will beat Usyk. And I know that then he'll want to go for the other title, so I'm pretty sure Tyson Fury will be in the way of that if Tyson Fury decides to hold on to the belt. So my confidence level on that fight is pretty low, man. But I would love to see the alternate fight. Though. I would love to see the Andy Ruiz versus Wilder fight, man. That sounds like a great fight to me. And I prefer to see that over the White versus AJ fight. But yeah, I would really love to see the AJ versus Wilder fight. But my confidence level on that fight is kind of low, man, to be honest.
Yeah, my confidence level, if I had to pick it for that fight, Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder, a lot of stuff needs to happen for them to get in the ring. The only good part about that fight maybe happening to me is that they both have had setbacks and had defeats. So that, one being undefeated and being on the high horse is not going to be the case with these two fighters. And I think both fan bases still want this fight. And it still may be the biggest fight in boxing, crazy as it may sound. Maybe the biggest fight in boxing. So I would still like to see it. So I would put my confidence level at, for 2022, at a 3.5. Now, if you go to 2023, I think it might go up to a 6 or 7 if everything work out right. As far as the alternate fight, like you said, the Wilder and Andy Ruiz fight, I think that's a very interesting fight with, Andy Ruiz speed and boxing skills against Deontay Wilder power and reach and all his physical attributes that he'll have over Andy. So I think it'd be an interesting and exciting fight. So I definitely want to see the Joshua and White fight. But yeah, for that one, I definitely go with the Joshua and Deontay Wilder fight. We could get it. Okay, the fifth fight is Kambosa against Devin Haney. The confidence level is 7 out of 10. The alternate fight is Kambosa against Lomachenko or Devin Haney against Ryan Garcia.
My confidence level on that fight, I'm gonna give it a high grade, man. I'm gonna say maybe like an 8 or 9, man. I think I think he will pick Devin Haney over Lomachenko over the simple fact just because it's for undisputed, man. I know they pushing hard for Loma to get his shot at ESPN, but I'm hoping, man, that Devin Haney and Eddie Hearn pull something together so they can convince Kambosos to fight for undisputed instead of trying to fight the media fight in Lomachenko. And when it comes to those alternate fights, man, I'm gonna be honest, man. I would love to see Devin Haney versus Garcia, but I think they should put Tank there instead of Devin Haney, man. I think the Tank versus they've been a better pick for me, but I would like to see Ryan Garcia fight any one of those guys, man. So I'm gonna go for that pick on my preferred alternate.
My confidence level for that fight between Kambosa and Devin Haney is 5, and the reason why I say that is because I think it's between two people. I don't know what Kambosa is gonna do. It would make sense for him to go for undisputed against Devin Haney, but I think that Lopez is pretty much hinted that he's moving to 140. So it's between Lomachenko and Devin Haney, and I say it's a coin flip on who he's gonna choose. Hopefully he chooses Devin Haney because I want to see undisputed. So I give it a confidence level of 5. As far as the alternate fights, of course, like you said, I would prefer the Haney over with Ryan Garcia, but I'm gonna go with the fight that they chose and say that I'd rather see Kambosa against Devin Haney. And it's funny that you said that because fight number 6 is Tate Davis against Ryan Garcia. The confidence level for this year is 6 out of 10. The alternate fight is Garcia versus Cruz and Davis versus Kambosa.
My confidence level on that fight is a 0, man. I do not see Ryan Garcia getting into the ring to fight Tank Davis, man. I know a lot of fans want to see that fight because they had some back and forth on social media, but I really don't see the Oscar De La Hoya allowing that fight to happen, man. So I'm gonna go with the alternates on that fight, man. I would love to see Tank Davis fight Kambosos. I think that's a great fight. And I'm gonna be honest, I would love to see Cruz fight Garcia. I'm hoping that fight get made also. So that would be, in my opinion, that would be a great step up fight for Garcia. I'm gonna give Garcia a little bit of slack. I'm gonna say that he's not really ready for Tank, so he need another step up fight before he get to Tank. So that's why I would say he will probably be better fighting Cruz before he gets to Tank. So I'm gonna go with the alternate on this pick.
As far as Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis, you said it was a 0. I'm gonna go with 3, and the only reason I'm gonna say 3 for the confidence level is at this point, De La Hoya and even Ryan Garcia just might be ready to cash out, man. Because I'm uncertain it's as hard as in the sport anymore. I don't know. He's just come up with a lot of excuses. He got a lot of stuff going on outside. Tank Davis against Ryan Garcia would do big numbers. They would make a lot of money. And if Ryan Garcia get knocked out, he can ride off into the sunset with his big paycheck and go do all that other stuff he want to do on the side. So that's the only reason I give it 3 out of 10. Now, as far as the alternate fight, I think both of these fights are great fights. Like you said, with the Garcia and Cruz, if Garcia want to get people confident and believing in him again, he go in there and beat Cruz, and that could change everything for him. And as far as Davis against Kambosos, I think that'll be an interesting fight if Kambosos beats his next opponent, which either is going to be Devin Haney or Lomachenko. Because if he beat those, I think that him and Tank Davis would be a huge fight. So if I had to choose one, I would probably think the most realistic option would probably be Garcia against Cruz. Now, the last and final fight is David Benedict against Jamal Charlo. Confidence level 6 out of 10. Alternate fights: Benedict against Plant and Charlo against Plant.
Oh, they're all the good fights, man. I think all 3 of those are great fights, man. In my opinion, this is a hard one. I'm gonna give my confidence level. I'm gonna give it a 6 also, man. I think that fight can be made. It all depends on where they meet, and like as far as weight goes. Cause I don't see Charlo going all the way up to 68 yet. I think he still want to unify at middleweight, and I don't see Benavidez going all the way down to middleweight, man. I don't even think he can make that weight, in my opinion. So that fight pretty much contingent on if it's going to be a catch weight fight or not, in my opinion. But those alternate fights, in my opinion, both of them are great picks, man. I would love to see Plant fight either one of these guys. But if I had to pick one of those alternate fights, it would be Plant versus not Plant, but it'd be Benavidez versus Plant. I think they got a little back and forth history on social media, and I don't know. I just prefer to see that fight over the Charlo fight. I think Charlo need to be going for a title at middleweight. So I prefer to see him go for a title, in my opinion.
As far as the David Benedict and Jamal Charlo fight, my confidence level would be a 3. I think that because of Charlo being at 160 and him wanting to stay at 160, and it seems like when people say David Benedict's name with Charlo seems to always deflect it, like he's not too interested in that fight for whatever reason. I want to say he's scared or he's trying to duck around, but maybe he's just more focused at 160. I mean, of course, he would have came up for 168 for Canelo because that's Canelo and he's the money man. But from what he's been saying, the way he's been deflecting questions about David Benedict, I'm not confident that fight will happen in 2022. To me, the most realistic fight out of the 3 is David Benedict and Plant. Because for Plant is ready to take on anybody now at this point because he's got the big fight with Canelo, and I think it instilled some more confidence in him. And I think that he's been a little bit more vocal, and he's been talking about fighting Charlo and David Benedict now after that fight with Canelo. And I think that David Benedict needs Plant because if he can destroy Plant in better fashion than Canelo did, it's going to put more pressure on Canelo to make that fight with David Benedict. So I would go with out of those 3 fights, I would probably say that David Benedict and Plant, and by them both being on the same company, is the most realistic fight that I probably would like to see and think can happen.
Yeah, most definitely.
But
that's honest, man.
ESPN,
I agree with you, man. I think ESPN did a good job on that list, man.
I
give him a B+ for the fight picks, man. Because the only reason I give him a B+ because that Triple G was the Canelo fight, they didn't need to be on the list, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a good list. Man, you got anything else you want to add to this topic?
No, I think we covered it all.
Most definitely, man. With that being said, man, this is your favorite channel, man. This is CTB. Chance Up Boxing. I'm your boy Jay Slay. Say peace to him, man.
All right, everybody, remember to like, subscribe, hit that notification button, comment. You know why? Because we love boxing and you love boxing. But most of all, God, peace, and love, and we out of here.
Peace.